Hello, everybody. Welcome into Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Friday, November 8th. We have a big show for you, as always, on Fridays. We go over our game picks for both the NFL and college football. A massive week 11 in college football, with 19 games that I wanted to highlight today. A lot to go over, and of course, all 13 of the games remaining on the NFL slate. We also talk about what was an incredible Thursday night football game that saw the Ravens escape with a victory 35-34. Ja'Marr Chase had a near career day. Joe Burrow went off. It was fireworks like we expected. A lot of fun. We have a lot to talk about in this show. But before we get into it, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all you'd like to ask, throw it in the comments, throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Friday, November 8th. But like I was saying, we're going to start off our show today talking all about that Thursday night football game. How about it? One of the best Thursday night football games we have had in a very, very long time that ultimately saw the Ravens defeat division rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals, 35-34. This was exactly what we expected out of this game. Joe Burrow throws for over 400 yards. Ja'Marr Chase, 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. This was offensive explosion, and it kind of showed us exactly what we knew about both of these teams already. There's a lot of good on both sides and a lot of bad, right? You can kind of look at these two teams as the same, just with good luck or bad luck. And maybe that's not a very fair way to look at these two teams. That Ravens now at 7-3, Bengals now at 4-6. There's a little bit of a difference there record-wise, but if you kind of break down these two teams, they're very similar. Obviously, you have the quarterbacks. We did our mid-season award show yesterday, and both of them were in the top 3 for the MVP, at least in my opinion. Now, Lamar Jackson, coming off of an MVP season, they both showed why they should be an MVP consideration. Putting up numbers like that, granted against bad defenses, are still putting up numbers like that. That is incredibly impressive. You also have a very talented wide receiver core, catching core, I think. You have on the Bengals, obviously, it's going to be a lot more higher end of the skill talent on the catching. But if we're just going to go by skill positions, I think it's a lot closer, right? Obviously, the Ravens are a lot more run heavy. Derrick Henry is going to be your best skill position player, but you have other options. You have guys you can turn to. Mark Andrews has really turned the corner in the mid part of this season. After starting off the season really slowly, Isaiah Likely still a very dangerous weapon for them. Obviously, Zay Flowers, he didn't have as big of a game as you expect, but he's a guy that can go out and get 100 yards just about any time you need him to. This is a very, very talented Ravens skill position. And then you look at the Bengals and you come to the same conclusion. Chase Brown, first of all, at the running back position, has come in and done really an incredible job. He does a great job in the passing game, pass protection, and he's just come into his own as a runner. I've been very impressed by him this season. Obviously, Ja'Marr Chase is the big catch over there. You didn't have T. Higgins, but it didn't really matter. When he's out there, he's going to do his thing. You obviously have Andre Yosivach, Trey Burton, the tight ends, Mike Gesicki. These two teams are very, very similar, and you saw that play out in both of the games that they played. Obviously, this one could have gone to overtime. Instead, the Bengals went for 2, and I'm not here to nitpick that decision. I think it was the right decision. Earlier on this week, when we talked about Monday Night Football, we talked about how the Bucs should have gone for 2, and obviously, people go and say, hey, I would have done this, or I would have done that, and a lot of times, it comes from a place of, oh, did the decision they make work or not? Obviously, again, and we say this about every single decision in football, hindsight is 20/20. The coaching decisions in the moment are hard to make. I respect the decision that the coaching staff made